Good to go?
Yeah.
Are we going? Are we
Yeah,
live? Are we on? Is this thing even working? How do I...
Yeah, so calm. It's all working fine, like a well-oiled machine. I hope. Hello.
Speaking of a well-oiled machine, just sort out framing out a
Bloody
little
bush, I know we're well-oiled.
bit. Indeed. Wow, there's quite a few people waiting for us already.
Bloody hell, it's alive, it is! Hello, welcome from Bushland. Anyway, hello everybody. Hello to all of you on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is hello from Valencia in Spain. Valencia is now our favourite city ever. It's beautiful here. You all have got to come here and see stuff. So tell us where you're all from. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us what time it is, and tell us something. Tell us anything. Really.
An interesting fact about yourself.
Exactly.
All right, so let's start with some hellos. We've got Peter from New Orleans. We've got Bird Dog from Houston.
Bird Dog.
We have vegetables.gr from Greece. Excellent.
Okay.
Wade from Georgia. He's very happy to be one of our patrons. Thanks, Wade.
Thank you.
We've got Sean from Saudi Arabia. Going to click me. Hang on. Marie from Missouri.
Hello, Marie.
Missouri. Ed from Virginia. Lots of people from America generally. Michael from New Jersey.
Joyzy.
GL. Oh, Grant from Boston.
And Bora Ruiz says, "Did we enjoy Cadiz? We love Cadiz.
Yeah.
It's flaming amazing." So, hello. So, Nashville, Tennessee is raining. Adrian, it's in Cambridge. Hello.
Alex from Chicago.
New Hampshire. This is pretty cool.
Someone else from Chicago.
I know I say this every time we do a live meetup. When I win the lotto, I'm flying you all to somewhere. We're going to just go to some...
Lars from Denmark.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Graham from Cheshire. Glenn from Maine. Oh, blimey, there's lots.
Bird Dog, carbamide oil peroxide for teeth. I'll talk to you about carbamide oil peroxide for teeth later. There's so many things flying up. In fact, Bird Dog, I think Bird Dog, you're one of our patrons. Ema asked me about that. Essentially, carbamide peroxide and hydrogen peroxide for teeth. It depends where you're doing it from. Hydrogen peroxide is far more dangerous and erosive on teeth. So carbamide is the one you can get for home use. And I think legally you can only get 2% hydrogen peroxide for home use. So I would go for 10 to 15% carbamide peroxide.
Terry says, "You guys look fabulous." Wow, thanks Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
That's a nice start to our live chat.
That's good. That's put Vaseline over the lens to give it a soft focus.
When we're in Barcelona, you're in Valencia, Mr. Juan's World. Are you going to be in Barcelona on the 10th of October? Because if you are, then we will also. Or you can get a train down to Valencia.
Yeah. Well, so
it's only 3.5 hours.
So first news for y'all, and Kirsten Stewart. Hello from Texas. We like Texas because we've been watching Fast and Loud. So look, we've got TV.
We have a soft urge to go to Texas.
We do. So basically, my dad used to work.
And go visit Gas Monkey Garage.
My dad used to work in Texas.
Yeah, you've been to Texas quite a lot, actually.
He used to a lot. So we've got 40 channels, of which 2 are English speaking. And they play Fast and Loud all the time, so we've kind of really got into Fast and Loud, which is in Dallas.
Yeah.
So hello from Texas. We love Texas.
Yes. Come to the Texas Golf so I can buy you 2 a beer.
Yeah,
I think we're going to have to go to Texas because so many of our lovely
Mm.
followers and also quite a few of our patrons are from Texas.
So 2 things. Firstly, we will be at the Barcelona Boat Show.
Is that it?
Yeah. So someone said, did we stop at Denia? We didn't stop at Denia, did we?
No.
Where did we stop?
Gandia.
Gandia, which is like, yeah. So we will be at the Barcelona Boat Show, which is in about a month, and we're going there just to mooch about and have a look at some boats. And second thing is, we have all but decided this. I know it's a year away, but because we're not going to Annapolis this year, because of the way that everything works next year, and Teresa's going to be a bridesmaid at a wedding in October, which means that our sailing season is going to stop a little bit earlier next year, which basically means that we won't be sailing next year, so we're going to be at Annapolis next year. So I know it's a long way away, but yeah, so we're going to organise an Uber meetup. That doesn't mean kind of like random cab drivers. We're going to organise a meetup of epic proportion.
Is it bad that now, in my mind, Uber means a car ride company rather than like super duper.
I know, but it does. There's so many words now that are being misappropriated
Yes.
by kind of crazy things. So, like you say,
Hang on, when is it this week?
October.
When?
Beginning. You can get to both.
Okay, so
Bonnie and Jess, how much bush is left? 2 cans less than there was an hour ago.
Steve says hello from Dubai. Alex wants to know if the moustache is making a comeback.
Yes, no.
The moustache has generated a lot of conversation.
I love that tash.
Some people have, I think, misunderstood my role in the shaving of the tash.
Hang on a minute. Please in no way try and wiggle out of this by saying I had nothing to do with it. You were dead against that tash, despite the fact, as you said once when you were a bit tipsy, you look debonair. Hey? You did use the word debonair?
Did I use the word debonair?
Yes.
I said, I think it's growing on me. And then we agreed that we could enter into like a second round of negotiations, a little bit like the Brexit negotiations, where you could come back and say, look, can I keep the moustache for a little bit longer? And I would have said, well, perhaps. But no, you just shaved it off.
In all fairness, if you equate growing a moustache to Brexit, that's a flaming hop, skip and a jump.
It was the shaving of the moustache.
Anyway, yes, thanks Alex for raising that spectre. Anyway, hello, Elle. Hey, us loves. Nice to see you again. And so yeah, Elle's here. Everyone's here. It's just like a massive, huge, and amazing.
How many are here right now?
70 million. There's the entire population of 265.
Wow.
So so please
awesome.
like, comment, and do all sorts of stuff to make us amazing and better and kind of like up the ranks and all stuff. So fantastic. So line up your questions. We will answer them as quickly and as eloquently and as professionally as possible.
Sailboat Kiwi says that he's in Sicily now, and he'll be here in October. So if you are here in October, then let us know, because we may also be here in October. We may be here in October.
So bits of news. We are in Valencia in southern Spain. We have been here 3 days, and we are in love with this city. This place is amazing, and it's amazing for. Look, everyone wants different things from a city. I like things to be kind of like elegant but a little bit grungy. And this place has got all that. It's also like, it's very kind of cosmopolitan. It's very kind of hip as well. And there's like everywhere. There's cycle routes. No matter where you go, it's the 3rd biggest city in Spain. Everywhere is cycle routes. Everyone is on bikes. It's cheaper than Alicante.
It's cheaper than anywhere else in Spain that we've been to.
So basically, just to run through the standard cost of things, a beer, $2. A meal out for 2, $30 to $40. If a good meal.
What, here?
Yeah, $30 to $40.
I don't think it's that much. No, our beers last night were less than $2, €2.
And we went for. They do a lot of things called menu del dia around here, which is the menu of the day. Exactly. So we went out with a really lovely 3-course meal.
Lunch.
3-course lunch with drinks.
Bread.
And bread. $8.50 each. That's nuts.
€8.
€8.50. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it was really good food. We're like, this is going to be like whatever they found in the back of the bin yesterday. It was delicious. It was lovely. So,
all right.
Yes. Elle wants the tash back. What Elle says, Elle gets.
Uh-oh.
Elle gets. Yeah, so there you go.
All right. Really?
Yes. But now Sasquatch says, make me look like Guido Fawkes. Guido Fawkes was amazing. Guido Fawkes was the ultimate.
Grow a beard, says John.
I had a beard.
I
like my beard as well. God, it itched.
Pre-sailing days. And you said that your moustache itched really badly. You didn't like it.
I did like it. I like the look, but not the itch.
What's your take on possible Brexit plans? Blimey. Oh, let's not go there.
Listen to me. Either way, look, I voted to stay. I didn't want to leave.
We voted.
We both voted to stay.
I had the vote as well because I was a UK resident at the time.
We both voted to stay in the EU. I think it's a bad thing. I also, just to throw, everyone says don't discuss politics or religion with people. Here we are discussing my political stance. I wanted to stay. I think it's a bad thing for the UK in the short and the medium term. Long term, nobody knows. I don't know. It could make our sailing very difficult. So from a personal point of view, and the worry is that instability is not good for any country. America at the moment is unstable. Politically, you've got some instability at the moment. And a lot of European countries got some instability. So whether you vote for Brexit or not, instability is not good for society. It makes people fractious, and you know, realistically speaking, there are a lot of, oh God, I've forgotten the word. You know, there's a lot of scaremongering going on.
Fear campaigns.
Yeah, a lot of fear campaigns, and it's not good. I don't think it's good for anyone. However, the one thing is that, you know, really, you know, I've got to the age now where we do this. But what I would say is that we don't have children, but all of you that have got children out there, Brexit is going to affect your kids for kind of, you know, the scaremongering is 50 years. There was some poor girl on Question Time. For those of you who don't know what Question Time is, it's a British political kind of like Q&A session. It's like our live chat, only sensible and based on politics, and they get politicians to talk. And there was a girl on there who was 16. She said, "Look, I didn't get to vote for Brexit, but if the effects of it go on for 50 years, that's my entire working life affected by it." So, not sure. What was the question?
I don't think there was a question.
Oh, yeah,
I think you just started ranting. Okay, cool. What is the best type of sailboat to buy? Blimey, Zoran, that's a big question. I don't know if we can really answer that.
I can answer it in one sentence.
Go on then. Yes.
The best type of sailboat you can buy is one that is worth 30% less than all the money you are willing to invest in a sailboat.
I thought you were about to say the one you've already got.
No, that's a good answer. Maybe Zoran doesn't have.
Yes. Okie dokie. Guys, there's lots of comments here, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get to every single one. We will try to...
As long as we have internet and beer, I will get to every single one. There's my cast iron guarantee to you all.
Well, I don't know about that.
All of them.
Okay.
Everyone. Get on with it.
Do you think you can get a sponsorship from Bush?
Wouldn't that be flaming ironic? Ruby Rose sponsored by Bush Beer, the laughing stock of the sailing community.
Mike says, I really enjoy your videos, please keep them coming.
Thank you, Mike.
Alright, Mike.
Mike K.
Will do. No, in seriousness, we fully intend to keep them coming.
Good to see you in Spain. We love Spain. We love Spain so much.
Yeah.
Monet Fogarty. She's thank you for Monet. That's a fantastic name. It is, isn't it? Monet.
Yeah, it is a lovely
It's
name.
a French Impressionist painting. Something called Renoir. In fact, I'd like to be called Renoir. Renoir Fabry.
Okay, if this is the amount of time you're going to be spending per comment.
That's fine, my love.
We're going to have
Monet Fogarty, how's the food? It's delicious.
Yes, it is.
Any ideas which marina you'll use in Barcelona? We will not be Mr. Juan's World. We will not be sailing to Barcelona. We are going to the Barcelona boat show by train.
Yeah, we don't have time to sail to Barcelona,
Yes.
unfortunately. But we do have time, but we love it in Valencia, and I think we're going to wind down our season here. We've got a lot of jobs on the boat to do, and we need to have somewhere safe, inexpensive, and lovely to leave the boat over winter.
Exactly.
And this kind of seems to fulfill all those requirements.
So, studio number 1, Cheeky Monkey is up for sale. Are you interested? No. 2 reasons. It's in Australia. We would be interested in the boat, but not in its location. There you go. Elle says $650 for a flight to Barcelona, to Valencia. You would think what you'd save on accommodation. We've got a 4-cabin. Swings and roundabouts, girls. Swings and roundabouts. We have a 4-cabin with a fan.
Where are you planning to stay during December in the Med? Joe asks. We will not be... So actually, let's talk sensibly about our kind of mid-term future plans. We're in Valencia right now, obviously. It's very lovely. We love it. And we were planning actually to go a little bit further up the coast to haul out and leave the boat over winter. However...
I'm going to just stop you. Is there any more beer in the fridge, or is this the last one?
I think there's one more. But I just put in a couple of non-alcoholic ones. There's some down the bottom that you have to empty the entire contents of the fridge.
But there's cold beer in the fridge.
There's cold non-alcoholic beer in the fridge.
Is it cold alcoholic beer in the
I
fridge?
think there's one cold alcoholic beer.
Keep talking. I'll be back.
So we're going to carry up the coast a little bit to haul out over winter. But we got to Valencia and we just thought what a fantastic and amazing place. And the marina here is very inexpensive. It's everything that we could possibly wish for is right on our doorstep. It's a really great city to live in. So we think, we've been getting the bikes out and cycling all over the place, and it's very, very easy to get around. And in short, I think there's an airport here. There's good train services to everywhere. So I think we'll really enjoy our time here. Wow, there's a lot of weight right now. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to haul out at the end of October-ish, and then between end of October and kind of mid-February, we will be off visiting family. We'll be in Australia, we'll be in the UK, and then we're coming back to the boat in February to continue on our sailing adventure. Okay, BVI Island Anchorage recommendations. Michael, we have some
Benius Bay.
Yeah, we have some videos on the BVIs. I suggest you go and check them out. But yes, in short, Benius Bay was our favourite. Benius Bay on Norman Island is our favourite anchorage. Okay, Phil says, hi guys, just checked out the Sailboat 47 at the boat show and loved it. What was it that you found wrong with it?
Nothing. In fact, what I would say about the Sailboat 47 is I'm very interested in the new design of the bridge deck. Underneath the bridge deck, it looks really funky, and I think they've done a lot of work on it. From my research on catamarans, one of the biggest things you need to look at is how the shape of the bridge deck is, and that I will talk to you about. Whether they take the bridge deck, the new bridge deck shape, and the kind of shape of the profile underneath it to kind of deal with, onto the other models, which is the new 45, which they brought out last week. There's a 42 Australia, I don't know. 47's too big for us. Although, Fontaine Pajot, if you're watching, we will happily have a 47 from you. For the price, well, anyway.
Someone says, sorry, I've missed some of the comments, but someone asked how we enjoy Cadiz. It was lovely.
Woo! Cadiz was amazing. Loved
Did you stop over in Cadiz? Asks Heath. Is it a good marina? The marina in Cadiz is quite a fair way out from Cadiz itself, and it's in quite an industrial area. So the marina itself is very well protected and good facilities, etc. But the surroundings are leaves a bit to be desired, unfortunately. They can really spruce that up quite easily, I think. But anyway, but Cadiz itself is very lovely.
So, you just click on that one.
Yes, I can just click on that.
So, WE Graphics 360, new sunglasses, Teresa. Thank you very much for that. That's very nice of you. We will spend it on beer.
Yes. When did I get these?
In the airport.
In the airport, yeah. I needed a new pair of sunglasses. The aviators weren't quite dark enough for me. I was always squinting.
So Christine C says, how is Valencia compared to Barcelona? We haven't been to Barcelona yet. We're going for the boat show. So another announcement again. We will be at the Barcelona boat show. So anyone that is in Barcelona, we'll put some dates out there. If anyone wants to kind of like catch up for, a chat, we'll be at the Barcelona boat show. A Kenya or six. Zoran says, please no politics here, you're on a sailboat. Very true, my friend, very true. And Brett Fields, thank you very much.
I think you're supposed to take a shot during live chats. Have a shot and I'll join you on Patreon. Do we have anything that we can shot?
I can, but all I would say is, I'll take a shot, but it's not going to be dependent on you joining Patreon.
But I don't even think we have anything to shoot.
I can always find something to shoot. No, and the reason is, wait.
We have finished all our...
Shit, we finished the whiskey?
Yes, we finished the whiskey, and we've kind of slowly been... our alcohol supply has been slowly dwindling, and we're yet to... we haven't had people on board very much recently that we can actually sit around and drink, so we've just kind of finished everything, but then we never bought it all again. Oopsie. Bacardi. Oh, nasty. Did we have a shot glass?
Yeah, a shot glass to do a shot. Look, okay, so this is the thing. I will take a shot only because we're running out of beer, and it's not dependent on anyone doing anything. Only because I kind of you want to join us on Patreon? Join us on Patreon. Don't join us on Patreon, but I'll still take a shot. Anyway, and here's an excuse to get the run out. Which, all I would say is, I am apparently, I was banned from drinking rum for a while.
Until someone dared him to take a shot. Don't ever dare Nick or challenge Nick to do anything, because he will
normally do it.
Okay.
And I'm a nightmare when I drink rum. So if you see something on the Spanish news tomorrow about middle-aged English fuckwit ends up in jail doing something, it's all your fault.
Emily, let's answer some sensible questions. Emily says, what boat did you start sailing in?
I started sailing in a Jaguar 25, a 1980 Jaguar 25, which I believe is the same mould as the Catalina 25. It was bilge keeled as well, so 2 keels, absolute dog to sail. I could have sailed a house brick better.
Bird Dog says that he'll be in Bray for 2 weeks over Christmas. We are going to be in Australia, I'm afraid. So unfortunately we won't get to.
So we will, if anyone's watching from Australia, we will probably, if anyone is there to do a meetup, you need to click the thing and anything. We'll probably do a meetup in Adelaide if there's enough interest.
John, not for bush beer.
So that brings me.
Thank you, John.
I thought we had 72 cans of bush left. We are down to 22.
No, I don't know.
There's only one. I've just pulled two. There's one case of bush left.
It's like never ending.
The never-ending bush.
Oh my
How
god.
very 70s.
We need to think of it like a celebration for when we finally finish all that bush. Okie dokie. Are you going to take a shot or what?
It's not. We're not students. I've got a bottle of rum and a can of beer. This is my standard Caribbean thing. I'm like bloody the Statue of Liberty for like sailors.
It's true. Yeah. Okay. Andre says, if you're still wanting to have a look at cats, take a look at the Sirius boats. They're a cat in a monohull.
So Sirius has got 40 DS, haven't they? Yeah, I will do.
I'm not familiar with those.
Randy says, hello from Northern California. You two look marvellous. You look marvellous. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a sip of this. Do you know what? I had a jug of... Where did we finish that jug off? We had like 2.5 litres of bourbon that we picked up in Charleston.
I know. Well, we finished it. Well, you finished it, actually. I think I was onto the port. Okay, cool. SV Gypsy Wins says, next time you come across the pond, you should come out to the Great Lakes. We have a big long list of places to go to once we're in North America next. So, yes. Have you used a parasailer? Asks
Marie says, hang on a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Will you take a shot? Brett's got to take a shot. Is everyone taking a shot? For everyone, wherever you are in the world, okay, I'm only going to do this, and this is done on it's a gentleman's agreement. I've just taken a shot. Over to you guys. If it's after 11 a.m. and you haven't got kids around or you haven't got to drive a truck later.
And if you want to, well, we would never know anyway. Peter says, have you used a parasailer?
Yes, we have a parasailer. It is an amazing piece of kit. They are superbly expensive for what they are. They really are. They're very, very, very expensive, but they are brilliant. And we have ours on board. So yes, we have a parasailer. We like it. It's not like flying a conventional spinnaker. You have to understand how a parasailer works, and you really have to get used to it. But yes, we have.
Have you heard of a 53 Gold Star Ketch?
I have heard of one. I couldn't tell you much about it. We'll look into it. Look, I think it's no secret. We over the next couple of years will sell Ruby Rose. We bought this boat to do certain things with, and what we bought this boat to do was to do an Atlantic circuit. So we bought the boat to go across the Atlantic, go around the Caribbean, see the Bahamas, go up the East Coast and come back, or go through Panama. But we came back, and this boat has kind of fulfilled its purpose, and it's still brilliant for Europe. But our plan is to continue and go through Panama and do the South Pacific. And for the South Pacific, we want something different. And we've kind of just about decided to go with a catamaran. For all of those of you going, oh my god, I can't think why you're doing catamarans. So this boat.
A lot thinking that sounds like a fantastic idea.
So over the next couple of years, we will, at some point, put this boat up for brokerage, and only when she's sold will we then go to buy another boat. We're not doing these. We're happy we've got 2 boats.
Cool. How do you guys navigate areas prone to piracy? Can we talk about precautions you take? Yeah, we don't go there.
To just kind of elaborate on that statement, there are so many internet sites that deal with where piracy is and where piracy has occurred. It's fairly easy to work out where to go or where not to go. So kind of south of Grenada, around Venezuela, and then the Gulf of Aden. And certain parts of Indonesia are bad. So there you go. So Randall L. Hannock Senior. What an amazing name. How do you guys make a living? So how we make a living is we rented our flat out. We rent our flat out. We have an apartment in London. We rent that out and we live on the income from that.
Bruce Bain says, a shout out from Portland, Oregon.
Woohoo.
Cheers, Bruce.
Brett Field says, yes, Maria, I will take a shot if they do. 9:13 a.m. here. I've taken my shot. Brett, over to you.
That is,
Joe.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What time is it there? It's just after 6 p.m.
Oh.
Is it? Yes. I don't know. This is what happens when we Have you seen chicken monkeys for sale? We've already answered
What
that.
have we got? How many questions have we got?
This is,
Are we still going?
have,
Okay, fair enough. So Marie says, God, we're so far. We've got like 100 questions to
I know,
answer.
this is why we can't be answering every single question. Emily says, what boat did you start sailing on before you bought your southerly? We kind of answered this before.
No, we had a Hands 32.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, there you go.
You had a Jaguar, then you bought a Hands. I met Nick when he had the Hands, so that was the first boat that I sat, and then we bought the southerly. Sailing back to Anna says, sailing back to Portugal next May from Antigua. Any do's or don'ts?
Do it in a boat. No, just enjoy. Look, all I would say is the first crossing that we did, I was so worried about everything that I didn't enjoy myself as much as I could have done. This time, I enjoyed it a lot more. So just try and enjoy it. And I sound like my mum. But try and enjoy it.
Just try and enjoy yourself.
So SV Poldu says you two could host one of the Annapolis 2019 sailing shows. Could host one of the sailing seminars at the 2019 Annapolis Boat Show. That would be great.
I mean, what would we talk about? Well, I feel like it might just be a glorified version of this live chat, which is obviously the most professional thing we'll try.
I could talk the leg off a fucking chair.
Yeah, I know.
So anyone that knows anyone that can actually hook us up. Okay, I will make this statement. I will give a seminar. We will give a seminar with puppets and mime. So yeah, I would happily do a seminar at the Annapolis Boat Show. Just let us know. If anyone has got a contact, let us know. Hey, SV Valor, hello.
Okay. Christine says, hi from North Carolina. We are day sailors on a lake after a weekend on the boat. Sorry, we're day sailors on a lake. After a weekend on the boat, we are sore. Yeah. How long did it take to get used to living on a boat and stay fit? Well,
You naturally get fit.
Yeah.
You do. I think what happens is, look, the way we did it, we used to weekend sail, and then what we did is we decided back in 2000, whatever it was, remember 10 or something like that. We I put a locum in my surgery, and we took a 6-week break with this boat, and we said, look, we're going to go for 6 weeks and see how we get on for 6 weeks, because if we don't like it, we can just go back to work. So everything, as I said to everyone, it's baby steps, and that was our baby step, taking a 6-week break, and we loved it. And then the next year we did another 6 weeks and loved it even more. And so that's how we did it. It's just small steps. It is difficult. It is a big adjustment going from weekend sailing to full-time liveaboards. And if you can find an intermediate step, it's going to be really good for you.
Definitely.
There's always ways of doing it. You know, we've got friends that have gone to their bosses. Two of our good friends, she said she went to her boss and said, look, I want a year off. I want a year off. I'm resigning. And she had a really good job. And he said, or she said to her, fine. Do you want 2 years off instead? And they took 2 years off.
Rosie says, how long are you planning to sail the Med? We're not entirely sure. We will definitely be here for the next, probably at least the next year, but probably longer than that. We haven't planned past next year though. But the Med is a huge kind of cruising ground, so yeah, we could be here for a decade. I don't know. Don't
touch it because you're slipping up. James Day asks, I walked through several southerlies at the Southampton Boat Show after meeting Dan and Kika. What do you make of the new ownership? I don't know about the new ownership, to tell you the truth. All I would say is that I worry that they are so entrenched in the way they were doing things that they're going to put their company down the kind of tubes. I just don't think that they understand what modern boat ownership is and who buys their boats. And that's genuinely what I think. We have approached them 3 or 4 times actually already to kind of say, and this is, and I want to put this out, not in any way to try and get a free boat. Everyone seems to think we want something for free. We don't. We will pay our own way as we do for most things. What we've said to them is, do you want to use us for marketing? Because we own a southerly. We are now the biggest southerly YouTube sailing channel going. So do you want to use us for marketing? Don't want anything from it. Don't want any concessions from it. We don't want a new southerly. They just don't even bother answering. They still have their entire mentality based around 1970s advertising. And really, the problem is now that sailors who buy these boats aren't these 60-year-old stuffy buggers with caps and chinos on. It's people that are kind of younger and are more dynamic, and they need to adapt, or they are going to fail. Moving on. Trees?
Well, you don't want me to touch it.
Oh no, you can touch it now.
Okay. Have you ever, were you out in New York City? Josh, New York City is a long way from kind of the cruising areas that we've visited so far. So I would say, never say never, but I don't think it's part of our immediate cruising plans. I mean, we always said that sailing under the Statue of Liberty would be like an amazing experience. But yeah, to get up to New York, it's a fair way from the Caribbean and Bahamas, which is where we spent the last couple of years, and I think to come back down again.
Well, like I said, we're planning on getting a new boat at some point over the next couple of years, and I think if we end up buying on the east coast of the States, New York will be something to do. So Paul Packstop says, "How are Francis Post Hurricane?" We haven't heard from them. To the best things, to the best of my knowledge, they're okay. Yeah, they're fine. Whether or not their boat or house was damaged, don't know. SV Valor.
Yes.
Important question. If you could only have one, a Code Zero and asymmetrical spinnaker, which would you have? Absolutely, 100% a Code Zero. There's no doubt in my mind. The reason is that you can use a Code Zero upwind and downwind. You can't use an asymmetric spinnaker upwind. That's just so you get more. All I would say to you is, if you are going to buy a Code Zero, have it in a cruising laminate, a lightweight cruising laminate. Do not go for a lightweight spinnaker material. It will blow out too quickly. So there you go.
Gap Life says, what's the monthly cost of the marina in Valencia? I'm not sure what the monthly cost is. I think the daily cost is...
It's 24 euros a day,
yeah.
And the wintering, the monthly is a lot less. Joe Harrelson says, this is my favourite YouTube channel. Fantastic.
In capital letters.
Studio number 1, have you seen Cheeky Monkeys Sail? Yes, beautiful boat, wrong area.
Okay. Throw the bush overboard, says John. Yeah, I did make that suggestion, not to throw it overboard, but to maybe donate it to some very desperate
in a way it is going
individual.
overboard, but it's going overboard after being processed by my kidneys. Adrian Ruff says, is the Antares 44 still your ideal Ruby Rose 2? As catamarans go, it is fairly high on the list.
We struggled to find something to beat it, that's for sure.
Yeah, we do. And the problem is, it's a price point.
Yeah.
We can't afford it.
We're trying really hard to find an alternative, actually, because they're very expensive, obviously. Most catamarans are. And also, I have a real issue with the cockpit of the Antares. We spend, I would say, 80% of our waking time on the boat in the cockpit. And I just can't see myself being comfortable in that cockpit. It feels very enclosed, which is obviously the opposite to what you want when you've got a catamaran.
I mean, without being overly detrimental, if they could put the cockpit of a Privilege Series 5 or even an Antares, a Helia 44 into the Antares 44, it would be the perfect boat. And I do not ascribe to this notion that it's a better cockpit for seamanship. That's absolute. It's just eyewash. It's just poor bloody design.
Yeah.
We have decided. Look, all things being equal, if we had to pick a catamaran, it would be an Antares 44. And we will talk to them about maybe slashing their prices a little bit for us. But
okay. Why not Outremer?
Hang on.
Looking at cats.
Someone said, "Can you talk a little slower?" Sorry, can you talk a little slower? I'll try. I do.
No is the answer.
Hang on. Hooch Moonshine, Woodford Reserve, shot taken. Sherborne Cars, nice to see you. We haven't seen you for a while, so welcome back. Why not Outremer? I have nothing against Outremer. I love Outremer, and I love what they do. I talked to Mathieu at the Miami Boat Show about the Outremer's and about the 45 because they had a 45 there, and obviously La Vagamon have got a 45, and it's a beautiful boat, and I also think it's a very pretty catamaran from the outside. This is my problem with it. I talked to Mathieu and I said, look, how much can you load this boat by? How much laden weight can you put on it before it affects its trim and its performance? And he said half a ton. I'm like, half a ton for liveaboards is nothing. And don't forget, that boat ships with no generator and no water maker. So if you want to put an extra fuel tank in and a generator, that's it, it's done. So what he said to me was, you need to look to the Ultimo 51.
49.
Sorry, 49 has been replaced by the 51.
Okay.
So Ultimo 51 would be a beautiful boat, and I would seriously consider that. It's a little bit big for what we want, but a beautiful boat, and slightly stronger and stiffer because it's just bigger. Again, out of our price range. But yeah, Ultimo 51 is a beautiful boat. I wouldn't go for a 45. Melissa, hello. Neil Birch says, if you insist, I'll do gin. Neil, I've got a story for you, just between you and me. There was a thing when we were students where if you had this was for guys, my friends at Guy's Hospital. If it was your birthday or you did well in an exam or something else, you got gin. And getting ginned involved 8 shots of neat gin in a glass. And at the beginning of your evening, you were forced to down it in one. And I never got ginned, because I didn't go to Guys. But people said that you either had the best or the worst evening of your life, depending on whether you threw up and kind of passed out or whether. Anyway,
Tom O'Connor is from Ireland and says he went to the boat show to do some research for a 40 to 55 foot boat. He'd love the lift keel of the Southerlies or Allures, but the additional cost is massive. Yes, it is. Alternative is a Hands 458. What do you think?
I have views. I will show you your views. Yeah, firstly, you pay. Sorry.
I'll just sit here and drink
orange
juice.
No, speak.
Okay, well, my opinion is that the lift keel adds a huge amount of cost to the boat. And I don't know how much it costs. I would say at least 50 grand. And unless you are certain that you're really going to, well, I think unless you're certain that you're going to a cruising ground that it has a lot of kind of shallow water, i.e. perhaps like the west coast of France or the Bahamas or the ICW, then really, is it convenient every now and again? Yes, definitely. Is it necessary? Definitely not. That being said, the Hands, I personally am not a massive fan of the newer
we used to have a Hands.
Yeah.
So we speak with authority on this.
Well, I speak with a small amount of authority, but yeah, I personally don't think the build quality of the newer Hands is particularly.
And there's the thing: you're not paying for the lifting keel; you're paying for the quality of the build and the quality of the joinery inside.
But you can get good quality 40 to well. Unfortunately, a lot of these really high quality kind of hand built boats cater more to the kind of above 50 foot market, which is a real shame. It's hard to get kind of 40 to 45 foot. You know, like Discovery don't build them, for example. Oyster don't build them, but you know, like a Harbour Grassy or something, they're fantastic boats. So I think that it's an interesting comparison going like Southerly or Hands. I don't think you're kind of comparing apples to apples.
You're absolutely correct. And as I said, with the Southerly, because you can buy, or you could buy, a Southerly without a lift keel. I'm not sure if anyone ever made one, but it was an option. You still get the quality of the build. I mean, our fiberglass is like an inch thick. Our hull is is a thick, well-built boat. This boat is tough, and that gave me a lot of peace of mind crossing the Atlantic. You know, it will take a knock. It's not a Stinners boat, so you don't just pay for the lift keel. So Monet Fogarty. So I'm selling my house and getting my first sailboat. What one and size do you think is good for a girl?
Any boat that's good for a guy, I would say.
Absolutely. Sailing does not involve. There is no gender bias. Some of the best sailors in the world are women. Dee Caffari, brain fart. What's her name? Ellen MacArthur. Yeah, Ellen MacArthur. You know, there were some amazing female sailors, and we were in Alicante last week, and there was a free museum for the Volvo Ocean Race. There's a lot of female crew. You know, it is not. In many ways, Teresa is a far better sailor than I am, because she's far calmer. I mean, I'm the mercurial one that goes, you know, screaming off, you know, having a fit about stuff and kind of losing his head. Women probably overall make better sailors than men.
I mean, I think that size-wise, I don't know, if it were me, I feel like if I was single-handling this boat, it would probably be a bit big. I would feel more comfortable with like maybe about 30 foot or so.
Sub 30 foot. That's what I say. So depends what you want to do. Firstly, work out what you want to sail. Secondly, do not be afraid to have a boat for 3 years and then trade up. if you've never sailed before, you're new to sailing, this is what I did. And it's not for everyone, but it's what I did. I bought a 25-foot boat because, as I keep saying to people, when you sell that boat, your broker will take 8 to 10%. And if you don't like it and you want to sell the boat, you still lose 8 to 10%. Losing 8 to 10% of 10 grand is
Less.
a factor less than losing 10% of 100 grand.
Okay. 410 people watching. Blimey. Okay. Let's move on. Oh dear. Trying to get back to the comments that we were just on, but now there are so many comments all backed up.
Okay.
What guitar do you carry on board, Nick?
I have 2 guitars now.
Yeah.
And a banjo. I had a Martin DX1AE, which is a beautiful guitar. I have now got a Martin. God, what is it?
I think there's a 3 in there somewhere.
No, it's a 3025. I've
I
gone
don't know.
completely bloody blank. They're both Martins. I'll be back.
Alright. Josh says, what did you both do for a profession before living on a sailboat? Nick was a dentist and I was a paramedic. And Terry's giving us a big thumbs up for a catamaran. Yeah, they just seem to be way more, I don't know, comfortable, I guess. More like a good compromise between a house and a boat, which, yeah, some catamarans are excellent kind of sailing boats as well, but I think that what appeals to us is just the spaciousness.
It's an HD28.
Okay. How did I land here? Yeah, I have no idea, mate. Hope you're enjoying the live chat. It's fairly niche.
What the hell is it? It is very niche. It's like watching someone thrashing an otter with a piece of bamboo. It's a bit niche, but if you like it, that's your thing. So, Richard Smith, good afternoon from Orlando. Adam says, love watching your channel, studied dental science at Manchester Uni and would love to do what you are doing, keep up the great work. Enjoy dental science at Manchester. I had an amazing night out in Manchester with all of you lot, so there you go.
Where did the name Ruby Rose come from?
Therese, over to you, babe.
As if we're getting so from talking. Rose was my grandmother's name and Ruby was Nick's grandmother's name. Okay.
So go to that comment that you just left from Elle. So Elle says, I am the current market of a sailboat, and YouTube will pay heavily in my decision on which boat to buy. Probably second to budget. Elle, let us know, or email us if you got us on Patreon. Just let us know what you're considering. And actually, you know what? If we're in the area, if we happen to be at Annapolis, I'm happy to walk you through what I think. If it's a used boat.
Kirsten says, why do you guys feel a 47-foot catamaran would be too big for you guys? I don't think it would be too big in terms of like managing it, but A, we don't need that much space, and B, cost comes into it as well. Obviously, not just the
mooring costs.
Yes,
well.
exactly. Not just the initial cost of the boat itself, but also all the ongoing costs.
And also just a little bit of a hint and a tip from people that are planning on living on board and kind of like bringing all their families out and friends out. It won't happen. Your friends won't come out as often as you think they are. You don't need that amount of space. It just doesn't happen. We know so many people, probably 20 to 30 different people on boats where everyone, they bought a boat thinking all their family and friends were going to come visit, and they never do. It just doesn't happen. So there you go.
Joe says, bless you, Teresa. Thank you.
Teresa. Distant Shores TV use the same brand of boat. They do. Distant Shores are Paul and Cheryl are good friends of ours. They were there way before we were there.
Birdell says, if you do the South Pacific, please check Sailing Noah, I don't know if I pronounced that right, video to Fiji. Yeah, I can't wait to do the South Pacific. I'm pretty excited about it. But we're in the Med at the moment, which is, I'm very excited about that as well.
We're excited about a lot of things.
Yes. Pine Bear Club says, come to the South Pacific, Pacific Northwest. I'm meeting around sailing next week in Vancouver. That'll be fun.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for my second shot because I've run out of beer. Now, this is on as long as everyone else is going to do the second shot.
Well, I'm not.
Obviously, you're not.
I'm on the orange juice and sparkling water.
Bill Van Ram says, what are your most embarrassing moments? I don't have any because I don't get embarrassed. There's very little that embarrasses me. I can literally be hair on fire, tackle out, running around like Parliament, and I'm just like, that's just my day. Teresa's most embarrassing moments normally involve me. Normally involves scooping me up out of some bar or club or beach and going, I'm so sorry about this. So sorry.
Brett says, shots before I got to run. Cheers. Cheers, Brett.
Cheers, my friend.
Off we go then.
I'm just enjoying.
Sorry.
Kenny, are you actually in Thailand? That's pretty cool. And Christy. Good afternoon again, Christy. Nice to see you. How's your day going?
Any scary moments crossing the Atlantic? Us,
No.
studio number 1.
No.
And
No,
in both directions.
It's beautiful out there. It is absolutely beautiful. We have, so Andreas asks, have you looked at the Maverick 440? No, never heard of that one. We'll look it up though. And Phil and Lyra says, I could answer a lot of these questions I'm reading just from following you all this time. Well, there you go, thank you.
I must have sat through a lot of lengthy live chats.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about buying a cat and putting it into charter so it can ultimately be purchased for less than 6% of sticker price and you own it after 4 years? SV Valor, that is a brilliant question, and if I had a prize to give you now, if you were sat opposite us, I would give you it. It would probably be bush related, unless it's a prize. There is absolutely no way I would do that unless I was desperate. And this is the reason why. We were in, where was that place in Virgin Gorda? We were in Virgin Gorda, and we've spent, because we spent so long in the BVIs and the Caribbean, we have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of charterers, and they are a flaming nightmare. We were anchored just next to Mosquito Island, which is Richard Branson's other island outside of Necker Island, and there's a reef, a very well charted reef that kind
Not
of.
to mention you can see it.
Yeah, you can see this reef, and it was a leopard, and it came screaming into the bay, didn't even bother looking at the chart, and just stopped dead on this reef. Literally, it just kind of like nose went up, and and they obviously didn't bother looking at the chart. They hit the reef, which apart from the fact the poor bloody sea life there, and then rather than think, shit, we've hit a reef, let's reverse off and go around the right way, they just motored through it. And realistically speaking, the amount of charter boats we've been on, and you're like, this boat it's shagged.
Yeah.
It is absolutely shagged out. And what I'm saying to you is, if you can see that the joinery and the veneer and the fittings are shagged, imagine what the engine's like. Imagine, these are big ticket items. So what I would say to you is, it's kind of, yeah, there is a reason it's worth a lot less, because it's fucked. Pardon my friend.
Not to put too fine a point on it. Uchiman 51 sounds damn splendid.
It is.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful boat. And you know what? All things being equal, if we had the money, Uchiman 51 would definitely be a contender.
Richard plans to build a Beneteau 51.1 with 12 birds.
I want to talk to you about that. El Del Sol, our friend El, says 410 people watching, but only 120 likes at the moment. Please hit the thumbs up. Can you please hit the thumbs up? It is really good for our channel. So, back to Richard Moreholt's comment. He has plans to have a Beneteau 51 built with 12 birds. Now, we have some really, really good friends who are lovely people who had a Naughty Tech 52 built, and their red line was it had to have 11 birds. It did. It was 11 birds, and they spent 120 something thousand on having this boat converted to have extra cabins, and as yet they have not had 11 people on there. For the extra money that you were going to spend on a berth, and you will never get that back in resale, if you ever have 11 people out, just pay for a bloody hotel for them and take them day sailing. Paul Forster says, why not get a bigger monohull? You could get a 15 to 20 year old Moody 47 and 54 and repurpose it, sod in loads of space. Do you want to address this? Because I've been banging on about this for a week or two or three. My views on monohulls versus catamarans. This comes. Do you want to answer it?
Well, I think that you have a very specific answer in mind. I don't know.
So this is our current rationale, subject to changing at any point. We went on Distant Shores 3, the Southerly 480, which is a beautiful, beautiful boat. It is a beautiful boat. We wouldn't buy it. And there's a reason. Most people that sail or that want to sail either sail with as a couple or they sail as a family. And that's it. It's very rare that you all turn up mob-handed and there's like 6 or 12 of you on a boat. It doesn't work like that. So we went on to Distant Shores 3, which is probably 2 or 3 times more expensive than our boat is, as new. And they had very little extra space in their saloon, very little extra space in their cockpit, and very little extra space in their cabin, in their main cabin. What you get for that is a greater waterline length and more berths. So you don't get all that space. So buying a 50-foot monohull, you don't get crazy amounts of space. We've lived on board for 4 years now. What you need is saloon space and you need cockpit space. And those are the things that you are going to use most. Your cabin, you will use essentially for sleeping and obviously the occasional sleepless night. But you need to, if you are looking at a liveaboard, you need to look to something that is going to give you the space that you need. So chartering is all fair and well, but if you've got 12 berths in a monohull, you still only have the same saloon and cockpit space as probably a boat that's half the size.
Look, I think that it's a completely different experience to a certain extent. I think living on a catamaran and living on a monohull, that you're kind of watching the same sunsets, you're enjoying the same anchorages, and you've got kind of a very similar set of challenges and issues. But it's also a very different space, and some people prefer monos and some people prefer catamarans. And we've been on a monohull for 9 years, Nick for probably 13, 14 years.
Yeah, but not as liveaboards. We've lived on board for 4 years
yes, now. But we've been sailing monohulls for that long, and quite frankly, we just fancy a bit of a change.
And all I would say is that this boat has a huge saloon and a huge cockpit. It has the cockpit, the saloon, and the main aft cabin of a 50-foot boat, and that is why we love it.
Richard needs 12 berths for chartering.
Randy has had 2 shots of malt extract. I hate malt extract.
Hey Nick, can you please speak faster? I'm assuming that's
Probably.
sarcastic comment. Okay. Clay says, favourite place you've ever visited by boat? That's a very difficult question. Really?
Morocco and Martinique.
I don't think that I can say with any kind of confidence my favourite place.
Marie's taking a shot. Okay. All of you that are taking a shot, when we meet up in Annapolis, you get 3 stickers.
Richard says, hi from Saudi Arabia. Hello, Richard.
So Marie, that's pretty awesome. What time is it, Marie, for you to be drinking a shot? And tell me what the shot it is.
I don't know. I can't say. Sorry to kind of not answer that question, but I don't think that I can fairly say my favourite place on the boat. Everywhere's been amazing for its own very special set of reasons.
Earthstrong's in Jamaica. What's up, Jamaica? Harley Mandike. Did you meet Sailor? We've never met SLV. I'd like to meet them actually. I'd like to see if the persona. Because I really do think that what we are is what you get. It's like a floating shit show. On my behalf, she's obviously elegant and dynamic.
Melissa says, are you all coming back to the Caribbean? 100%?
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't know when.
Bingin Beach House. Are you actually on Bingin Beach? I love Bingin. Seriously, tell me that you're on Bingin Beach House.
Well, he wants to sail a 30-foot boat from Indonesia to Europe.
Man, I love Bingin Beach. Bingin Beach is fucking awesome. There's a surf break. It's a left-hander. There's some amazing restaurants. I spend so much time on Bingin Beach. Tell me you're on Bingin Beach. I want to come and visit you.
Lady Queen Faye Lewis. Hello. You're one of our lovely patrons.
You are.
But I don't know how to pronounce your boat name.
So why don't you tell us how you pronounce it so we don't...
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Hang on. Adam Knight says, do you find much competition between yourselves, SVDers, SV La Vagabond,
et al.
Et al. You are number 1 sailing channel for all things sailing. So we have a view on this. When I say we have a view, I have a view. And this is my view. Firstly, and this is a crazy thing, there was a poll put on Facebook, All Things Sailing page or something like that, which kind of asked people for their favourite sailing channel. Sailing and cruising channel. And there's 30,000 subscribers to that page, or followers. So it's a good snapshot of the sailing community on Facebook, and we ranked number 6 on that, which is brilliant. Thank you for all of you who voted on that. But what I would say to you is, SLV are the biggest sailing channel, and Delos are the second biggest sailing channel on YouTube. But if you look at that poll, Sailing Delos are the biggest channel, followed by SLV. And to me, that is indicative of the fact that for sailors actually appreciate SLV far more.
No.
Oh, sorry, Delos far more than La Vagabond. SLV are brilliant and they are fantastic ambassadors for sailing. But Delos are better sailors, and it comes across. They understand, they've got an old boat, and we know friends of ours on Totem, Sailing Totem, who are a fantastic website, again, go-to for things that we know about sailing, or you want to know about sailing, who knew them before they had any money, and they were still sailing then. So if I had to take advice from one or the other on sailing, I take it from Delos every day. And regarding your question regarding competition, there is no competition, because everyone gets to choose what sailing channels they watch. I look at this like music, which is a nice easy thing for me to understand. As I said on a previous post, you know, everyone has got their own favourite artist. Beyonce is one of the greatest artists in the world. I don't like Beyonce's music. But people follow Beyonce, and everyone likes different genres of music. We fall into a specific niche. SLV are very, very mainstream. They appeal to non-sailors, brilliant, and they are huge ambassadors for the community. Should they wear life jackets? Absolutely. But, you know, well done for keeping this kind of sailing thing alive.
Mike says, getting my family ready to sail away. That's exciting.
Very David Gray.
What is the biggest challenge as a couple? Hey, you need to be part of this.
You're going to drain the snake.
What is the biggest challenge as a couple and the biggest challenge as a woman for the sailing aspect of your journey? I think that, actually sailing the boat, I wouldn't say that there's any real challenge there at all. I think that the biggest challenges come in terms of living aboard from other aspects of cruising, which is kind of multifactorial, and it's really a massive adjustment from living in a house, potentially not spending a huge amount of quality time with your kind of wife and children in your case, or partner and whoever, significant other. You're off to work every day, your kids are off to school every day, and in the evenings that's the only time you get to spend together, and then that's when you're all exhausted, and it's all just kind of like doing the same thing every day, and you're just constantly kind of in this cycle, this never-ending cycle. And I think going from that, which is very obviously kind of routine, it's you know what you're doing, nothing kind of really ever surprises you, you know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and going from that life to a completely different lifestyle where you're living in a small space together, you're together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and living a life where you have to, I guess, expect the unexpected. That unpredictable things happen all the time, and you don't have the comfort, I guess, of that routine that you get when you're living on land. And some people that's very liberating, and to other people it can be very stressful. That kind of lack of routine and that lack of control, I think, really is what it is about, a lack of control. So it really depends on what you personally find challenging. And Nick and I have kind of gone through this process of realising what it is about this lifestyle that we love and what it is that we find more challenging, and the answers to that are different for both of us. And so we've both tried to come up with solutions to our kind of personal kind of obstacles, and it's a kind of constantly evolving thing, and I would also say, and I've said this to people before asking me this question, I think that conversation is really important. You have to kind of keep the lines of communication open. You always have to be kind of checking in with the other person and keeping things really fluid, and don't be too kind of set on the plan, because if one person isn't happy with that plan, then the plan absolutely 100% needs to be reevaluated. So I would say that's the biggest challenging. The sailing, the boat itself, all right, when things break, it can be stressful. When you're I don't know, on some random Caribbean island that doesn't even have an airport, and suddenly you need a new water maker or something, then that can be stressful. But these things are all kind of, they can be overcome fairly
Agree,
easily.
100%. Well, it's just to add to that, there are times, and we found this, where probably me more than Teresa is actually, I actually hate sailing. I am so fed up with this, the constant need for maintenance, the constant breakages. We've never been out of really settle down and find friends because you've got to move on. And you do have to take a break from it every now and then. It's like Teresa's put this very eloquently into a blog. A boat is like a very needy child. There are times it always needs something, either maintenance or the location that you're in, and so you have to step away from it.
Yeah.
And we, taking a break from what we do every now and then and going home and just going, the boat's out of the water, we haven't got to worry about mooring or, engine problems or changing the sails or maintenance or revarnishing or whatever. You need a break from it. So if you're going off to do this, understand that please plan to take 2 months at least away from your boat, if you can. Just to go and visit family or friends or just get an RV and do something else.
And sorry, Mike's question was, what was the biggest challenge as a woman? And I personally don't find this, but I have most, I would say, kind of women sailing friends that I have met. I think, and I am obviously massively generalising, but I think it's fair to say that a lot of women who sail, they crave that kind of social connection more than men do to a large extent. And so, kind of being able to make friends is really important. And that's where I think social media actually plays a huge part. And if you go onto Instagram and you follow some, kind of sailing Instagram accounts, most of them are run by the woman of the couple, because it's women who try and connect with other people. It's something that we crave, I think, in general. So yeah, I would say, maybe suggest to your wife that she sets up like an Instagram page or a Facebook page and get involved in like the online sailing community, Facebook groups and whatnot, so that when she's like stuck on a boat with you lot, then she at least has, other women out there in the virtual world who, she can connect with. Anyway, I think that we've answered that.
Good answer, Ben. Kenny says, glad to read on Instagram that you're considering Valencia to winter. We are going to winter in Valencia, and there are still 22 cans of bush in Valencia, all on board Ruby Road.
In party called it the pleasures of the marriage bed. Yep.
Okay, Kenny Peter says, do you need any international sailing certificates by law when you're sailing on board abroad on a 35-foot boat, or do you just sail away? Different countries have different regulations. For most of Europe, you need an ICC, which is an International Certificate of Competence. Now, I can only speak for UK qualifications, but I imagine that the ASA have a similar thing, the American Sailing Association. So I've got my day skipper and coastal yacht master. You can send £5 to the Royal Yachting Association. They will give you an ICC because they're equivalent qualifications. So you do need it in certain countries. In 4 years of sailing, and no one has ever asked my qualifications, but you do need them. Okay, so Sirius 40. Yep, someone says, Professor Moptop says you should get a Warham cat. Do you know, I found out that James Warham is still going. He's still at 90 whatever, still sailing his Warham cat. Warham cat's a beautiful boat, not for us. There you go. Anyway, Steve Bennett, good afternoon, guys. Thank you. Nice to see you, sir. Jose Sanz Garcia says, what about a majestic 530 cat? Haven't seen them. Firstly, if I don't know about the catamaran, this is at some point I'm going to make. If I don't know about the mark, we research boats religiously. I've stolen it, but I will give you another pilot. We research boats religiously. If I haven't heard of it, it probably is niche, and if it's niche, it's going to be difficult to sell. So you have to go with a boat. We've got it's a distant shores, whatever Ruby Rose 2 is going to be, and I don't think it's going to be Ruby Rose 2, it's going to be Ruby Rose. She will have to be something we can sell easily. Louis says, when will you be in Annapolis again? So, just to catch up with Louis, if you didn't see the beginning of the thread, we will definitely be in Annapolis next year, not 2018, 2019, because we have commitments. Teresa's got a wedding, she's a bridesmaid in the wedding next year, so we will go to Annapolis next year before that. There you go. Dennis says, hello. Hello, Dennis. Nice to see you again, sir. Kelly says, sorry, Homer says, are you going to Annapolis this year? No, we are not Annapolis this year. We're going to Barcelona instead.
Barcelona boat show. Yeah.
Ooh, Stimpson JCat has had a shot of Beam. I like Beam. Ooh, it's a good.
Alan says, how do you guys handle healthcare being part of the UK health system? Well, I'm not part of the UK health system.
You can through. We have offshore.
European...
We have offshore sailing insurance.
Yeah, and then in Europe, you've got European healthcare cards. What are they called?
E111 cards.
Yeah.
Bingin Beach House is in Bingin Beach. I love Bingin Beach.
Bingin Beach House. Can we come and stay at your beach house? Because we love Bingin.
Bingin, yeah. I think I actually caught my best ever wave at Bingin Beach. And you get fish there in the evening. It's overpriced, but it's nice. God, I love Bingin Beach.
Okay.
Show the message. Hang on. Dennis Beeler is drunk at 9:53. Wood. Don't drive anything. John Paddock says, yes, took the poll on all things sailing. SV Ruby Road is my favourite. Thank you. Listen, thank you to everyone who took that poll, who kind of voted for us on Facebook. That Facebook poll worked out really well for us, and it's done super for the channel.
I'll ask us a really good question, which is, do you enjoy passage making, or do you prefer coastal cruising? I think that...
We both have our answers to this.
Well, I think we kind of have the same answer, which is that you need a nice balance. I think that, I do love being in the middle of an ocean, and I do love crossing big kind of bodies of water by sailboats. I think it's just, there's something incredibly magical about it. But it's exhausting, and you're always glad when you get to the other end. And yeah, coastal cruising is obviously has its own set of challenges, but it's far easier. Obviously, you get to at least sleep every night hopefully in a comfortable anchorage, or marina. So it really depends. But yeah, no, I love both. Nick?
Ocean crossing is, as you know, because I know that you've done a crossing to Bermuda. Ocean crossing is hard if the swell is up. And the thing is that if you're doing a passage more than, say, 5 days, which is about as long as you can get a decent weather forecast, you are going to be at the mercy of the gods to the weather. And that, rather than just causing me concern, when we did our Atlantic crossing, we had some very uncomfortable days and nights at sea. I love passage making when it's calm. The flip side to that is that, as you know, the first 3 days that you're out, the first 3 days at sea, your body gets used to it. I remember watching a Gone with the Winds video about this, and someone was saying, God, how do you get used to night watches? It takes 3 days. It does take 3 days. It takes 72 hours for your body to get used to kind of 3 hours on, 3 hours off. And really, if you hit that sweet spot where your body's acclimatized to the kind of routine and the sailing is good, there are fewer, finer things in life that are legal. But it is rare. I also, because the way it falls, I'm responsible for the maintenance of this boat and the upkeep and making sure everything runs properly. My worries are related to kind of, is everything working? Are we going to break something? I love landfall, and if I had to pick passage making or landfall, I would always take landfall after a long crossing or after a long passage over a long passage, because really that you've told us about this, Elle. Kind of like making landfall in Bermuda, the sense of achievement, the sense of relief, kind of like you would have to really find some alternate ways to get that sort of buzz.
Lewis says, hello from Argentina. We love you.
Yay.
Will you go sailing to the Greek islands?
Yes, we will.
Definitely. That's part of the reason why we brought the boat back to the Med, really, because the Greek islands appeal to us so much. So,
Earthstrong. Actually, John Smith says, have we seen Sea Change? Are they the ones that are kind of doing that amazing videoing?
Yes, but I don't think they make videos anymore. They are fantastic filmmakers, but I don't know if they actually still make videos. I think. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one.
So Earthstrong,
Anyway.
Earthstrong says, and this is really important actually for anyone who is thinking of doing this. Earthstrong says, I'm a physician and sailor working towards full-time cruising. Wonder if Nick has any insight on what it feels like to have worked so hard to push through dental school and now to not be in the field. I have some thoughts on this. So basically, I worked in dental school for 5 years, did a year of kind of intermediate training, and then spent 15 years working as a dentist, and left dentistry 5 years ago. At no point ever have I thought that was a bad idea. I do not miss dentistry at all. And my mum, I remember when I was talking about this, because basically, to kind of like throw something into the mix, about 3 years before I stopped working, I was running. I used to run and work out religiously, and I ruptured a disc in my back and ended up with a numb leg for a year and was on painkillers and all sorts of problems. And it was one thing that kind of predisposed me towards kind of giving up early, because basically my neurosurgeon said, look, it's your job that's causing this. You know, you're being kind of like drilling people's teeth day in, day out is not doing your back any good. Either way, my mum said to me something interesting, and I was talking to her, I said, look, what do I do? Do I give up my career early and kind of live on what we've got, or do I go through this? And I was not so much worried about my career, but I was worried about my patients, actually, because we had a really good dental practice in central London. It was doing well, and I really liked my patients. Like, they were lovely people. Yeah, we had just like this is now. And what my mum said to me was, listen, a year after you've left, no one is going to remember you. And I will always remember that. And true, we stopped work almost 5 years ago, and I've never, ever thought, God, I miss it. Yeah? This has been, all we do say nowadays is, God, hasn't the year gone quickly? Haven't we done so much?
Yeah.
Dennis says something about, he's not overly happy with certain sailing clubs or sailing channels' attitude to talking. Aboard Eon says, do you hear accents in each other's speech? Yes, we do. I know that Teresa's Australian, and she knows that I'm a Londoner. But strangely enough, most people can't pick out that Teresa's Australian anymore.
But I'm from Adelaide. We all talk like this.
Yeah, we all talk like this. Christine says, this is interesting, because it brings us on to something that I want to talk about, which is, Christine says, Gone with the Winds is the worst for boating safety. I cringe watching them cross the Pacific, no harnesses or life jackets. Listen, this is a very, very contentious issue. We in the Mediterranean don't wear life jackets during day sailing, and here's the reason why. When there is no swell, and when you're day sailing, if you're in the cockpit, there is almost zero chance of you falling in. There is no chance of you falling in. It is almost tantamount to zero. So we don't wear life jackets, and I have put out in a few videos, look, this is why we're not doing life jackets. We make a risk assessment on what's the chance of there being a problem, and act accordingly. At night, we always wear life jackets, 100%. When there's swell, 100%. When we're offshore, 100%. That's just our take on life jackets. And I'm going to leave it there regarding whether you should wear a life jacket or not as a sailor. Being a YouTuber who sails, or a sailor who has a YouTube channel, which is what we are, you do have a moral or ethical obligation to make sure that if you are influencing people that are going to sail, to make them understand why you choose not to wear a life jacket, or when you choose to wear a life jacket, or if you should wear a life jacket. And because we probably now with slightly experience, we have a lot of experience in offshore sailing, and I would hate for anyone to get into difficulty because they thought that they weren't wearing a life jacket because we had told them to, or because another YouTube channel had kind of influenced them into not wearing a life jacket when you should do. There you go.
Yeah.
Steve says, can get the Martin out, we can pick away at it, tell us a story. You know what, I love playing guitar. Can't do it on YouTube, there's a probably problem.
Estivella says, we're looking for cats as well. My girlfriend likes the Bali 4.1, but it's really not my thing. What would be your top 3 catamaran choices other than the Antares?
Right.
Let's stick to answering the question.
I'm going to answer the question. Okay, Estivella. Firstly, I don't like the Bali 4.1. We actually looked at a 4.1 or 4.3. It's not a catamaran. It's a motorboat with a tiny little mast on it. It is not a sailing boat. I love what Katana do with their katanas, but there's very little I can say in support of the Bali catamarans. unless you want to motor between anchorages and have a huge amount of living space. So I agree with you completely. Bali 4.1 is not a sailing boat. It's a motorboat with a mast. If I had to look to a 40 to 42 foot range, and I'm probably going to get absolutely lambasted for this, that's not...
I'm looking forward to hearing the answer.
No, okay. I would look to Katana 42. Would you agree or not? Katana 42, you get performance, but you do not get accommodation. It's really basic inside, and if Katana raise their game a little bit and understand that people want living space, they will clean up. So they've got dagger boards, nice thin holes, the cockpit saloon, bloody shocking. Looks like an IKEA-based oil rig from the 1970s. Katana, sort your shit out, because you have sorted your stuff out with Bali. There's the thing. Katana have done this with Bali. The Bali 4.1 and 4.3, they've got really quite nicely designed accommodation. When it comes to the other Katanas, they haven't done. So I go for basic Katana. I actually now, without sounding like a Lagoon 42. They actually were strange. I was looking at this before. The sailing characteristics of the Lagoon, I can't tell you about. But the new Lagoons, they look good inside and they're livable. Leopard, I'm not sure about. For sheer design class and kind of like good-looking living space, Fontaine Pajot. Can't tell anything about their sailing characteristics. And if we do go to a catamaran, which is probably will be the next boat we get will be a catamaran, we will be test sailing them like no tomorrow. We will go to the factories, we will test sail them, we will go and look at them all, because we are going to drop a lot of money and a lot of investment into that. And yeah, so we will report back. There you go. Amy Bacall says, I love the fact you guys are so real. Yeah, unfortunately what you see is what you get. Pros and cons, my love, pros and cons. Chris Chapman says, any more Technical Tuesdays? Yes. Loads. So,
come on, Nick, get your act together.
Technical Tuesdays coming up, and this is going to be next season, and there's a reason why it's going to be next season. We're not being lazy. We're going to do one on the Watermaker. We're going to do one on... What else are we doing on one on Watermaker. We're also going to do a dedicated series on sail trim. Probably. The reason is that sail trim, it's not just let the sail out, pull the sail in. It's going to be about kind of the importance of understanding things like your leech lines. When should you pull on your leech lines? When should you move your Genoa cars forward if you've got an overlapping Genoa? How important is halyard tension for camber of your sails? And these are things that people go, oh yeah, halyard tension is super important. But how many of you, okay, so straw poll, how many of you who sail regularly adjust your halyard tensions? It's important. So we're going to do a series on sail trim. So yes, it's all coming up.
Slightly more distant sails.
So we're changing the sails. We're going to change the sails at the end of the season. Next season we'll have new sails. Our sails are like a pair of grandma's drawers at the moment. They have done too many miles. We need new sails, and so when we've got new sails, we will go through all the things we need to show you about sailing. And for those people who are going, oh no, we know about sail trim. Loads of you know so much about sail trim, but this channel is watched by people who don't sail, people who want to sail, and people that are kind of learning the ropes, on the pun. And so we're going to do a lot of stuff on kind of like using a kicker, using it out haul, sail flattening, kind of using leech lines to kind of bring things down. Because we see so many people, like for instance, sailing along with their Genoa, and the top third is flapping away. Move your Genoa cars forward. And if your Genoa cars aren't doing it, get your leech lines sorted out. And if you don't know what those terms mean, that's what we're going to help you with.
I think we need to get on with it. Yeah, we're way behind.
It's okay, it's good.
Okay. Okay, this is a good question. Jose says, as you look for a new boat, how important is lifting keel, or what would your maximum draft be?
I would go for less than 2 meters and a lifting keel. Now that we've used Ruby Rose for what she is being used for, now we built Ruby Rose to do an Atlantic circuit to go to the Bahamas. We have done that, so less than 6 foot, 2 meters, and not important to us now.
When is Barcelona? I think that the Barcelona boat show is on the 10th of October until, I don't know, like the 14th or something. Um,
Hang on, let me just grab a little bit of something. Someone has said, for the same price, Oyster 53 versus Halberg Rassi 53 versus Jeannot 58. Oyster or Halberg Rassi every day. I don't think we go for Jeannot. We literally pulled one apart at a boat show once. The dude says that everyone in North Carolina you know do okay. So far, everyone that has checked in with us from North Carolina is okay, and everyone that has checked in with us in South Carolina is okay. Brilliant. Harleyman DK says, "Are you doing a meetup in Barcelona?" If people are in Barcelona and want to catch up, yeah, why not? Listen, probably what we do, we've got a lot of boats to go and see at Barcelona, but if people want to do a meetup in Barcelona, we'll be there. We may just go for dinner one night. Yeah, we'll just do a meal. We'll go and have some tapa or some beers or some tapa and beers and maybe some paella. Paella. Nick Moore says, "Are you ever coming to Ireland?" Yes. Larry Outdoors says, "Do you lick frosting off your fingers?" I have no idea what that means, but yes.
The evening
Caravan
charter's
Cruise.
going out.
John Paddock says, "Got to go. Great chat. Thanks, mate. Goodbye." Okay, so JCF, which is not a stump question. He says, maybe this is a stupid question, but it's not, as he's learning. Does a boat with a lifting keel tend to heel more than comparable boat with a fixed keel? No. With a keel down, it doesn't. What will make your boat heel more than anything else is your sails. If your sails are knackered or old, your boat will heel more. And this is something that seems to be completely overlooked, and I'll explain why. If your sails are flat, imagine your sails are made of kind of something which had no flex in it at all, no sag in it at all, like a sheet of something like steel, like with bracing in it, or carbon fiber, like kind of these modern, brand new kind of open 60s, open 70 boats. What happens is when the boat heels, the wind comes on, just goes over the top. The wind will spill from your sails, and you get a superb amount of drive. When your sails are worn out, and you've got baggy sails, like kind of, I think, like an old blanket or an old set of sheets, the wind will fill those sails and it will make the boat heel without giving it any drive. So you have to understand that heel is related to kind of sail shape and condition. I see so many, I follow, I'm not sure you do, so many posts on Facebook or so many forums on Facebook where you see these boats with the rail in the water hissing along. The most efficient position for a sailboat to be is completely upright. As soon as your mast is over and heeling, your sailboat is becoming more and more inefficient. The more your boat is heeling, the less efficient it is. It is not practical to be completely upright because the wind will hit the sail. So heeling is related more to sail age and condition. Obviously, if you've got a deep keel, you kind of like, if you've got a lot of, it does bring the boat upright. And so when you see these racing yachts with all these people on the rail, all they're trying to do is get the boat back upright to make it more efficient. So you have to understand that really the depth, a long, deep keel will give you good pointing because it doesn't track through the water as much, you get less leeway. So appreciate that if your boat is heeling too much, it is more to do with the condition of your sails rather than your keel. Yeah.
Rather than your keel.
Okay, Josh K says, the Facebook vote poll was great. I was the actual person who posted it and was overwhelmed with the responses. It's how I found your YouTube page. J David is my Facebook name. Jay, that is bloody awesome. That Facebook poll is fantastic, and we have been banging on about this for a long while. So firstly, Josh K, also known as J David, thank you for that. That has been bloody amazing. But it also highlights the fact that people who watch sailing videos and are into sailing actually follow a different number of channels or a different dynamic of channels to the actual kind of hierarchy of YouTube sailors. I've talked about this already at the beginning of the feed. If you look to the most popular sailing channels, number one on YouTube is SLV, La Vagabond, number two is Delos. If you look to that poll, number one is Delos and number two is La Vagabond. It's because sailors who understand sailing follow sailors. And with no disrespect to La Vagabond, Delos are better sailors. if you wanted to cross an ocean, if you wanted to cross the Southern Ocean, who would you go with? If someone said, "Oh, there's a place on board within the Southern Ocean," you go with Delos. They know what they're doing. I have a huge amount of respect for them.
Yeah. No, the poll was really interesting. I found that really interesting. I mean, Sailing Cruising is a Facebook group that has like 30,000 members or something in it. So it was quite a good kind of poll.
And two other things. Number one, we're number 6. Thank you for everyone that voted. Number 2, if you haven't voted, go on.
You can vote for multiple.
Yeah, vote for multiple. Yeah. Jeffrey Bannock says, would you all rather cross the Atlantic in a bigger boat or a smaller boat? Bigger.
Definitely bigger.
Bigger, but still with small amount of crew. Only because the motion is more kindly.
Yeah. Okay. Richard said, my daughter Michelle will be a doctor this coming May. Fantastic. Well done.
Congratulations. You know, that's
Michelle.
a hard path. And Richard, all I would say to you,
absolutely.
if your daughter, I'm not sure where you're based. The US has a completely different pathway for medicine to the UK. To what I gather, in the US, it's a second degree, so you've got to put your time in, and it's even harder. My dentistry degree was my second degree. It's hard. Congratulations. Time Bandit says, true story, Nick, my dentist was a great guy. He always said he would retire at 55 and sell the world. Super fit guy, down to 51, very sad, didn't manage his dream. And I've said this before, and we've put this out, and sorry for Teresa, I've heard this 100 times. I was privileged enough, and I really do mean privileged, to be in a group of sailors in my home port who were a lot older than me. The average age of my best friends is probably 10, 15 years older than me. And these people are super confident sailors, they are super nice people, and they're some of the finest people I've ever met. But because they were older, a lot of them had dreams that kind of they wanted to realise in their 50s and 60s. And I went through a spate, or we all went through a spate, as a very cute, close community, probably 7, 8 years ago, where a lot of people died. And it was just coincidence that friends died. Just the things that they never came up with. And really, that's one thing that galvanised us to go, because we had so many good friends that were in their 60s that kind of wanted to realise these dreams, and it never came to pass. And it kind of made us think, okay, let's just get there and do it while we can. Dennis is still doing shots. Dennis, how many shots have you had?
I think we're so far behind that he's...
You'll be absolutely shit-faced by now. Marie says, Patreon-only guitar playing. No, Patreon... Look, Marie, the problem I've got with is that all the things we put on Patreon or otherwise are YouTube-based, and YouTube... that you think nudity's bad, you start covering someone's songs.
No, it's just demonetization.
No, it's copyright strikes. It's different.
Oh, okay.
It's copyright strikes with okay. Adam Knight says, how long did you sell your Jaguar 25 before you made the step up? 2 years. And that Jaguar 25 was an absolute shit show. It had a tacking angle of about 150 degrees. Literally, it wouldn't sail to windward at all. The sails were shot, the engine was shot, but I learnt boatcraft in that. And I was in a part of a community, they took pity on me because I was such a fool, didn't know what I was doing. They taught me to sail, but it also taught me how to fix a boat. So I learnt mechanics, I learnt rigging, I learnt splicing, I learnt woodwork, bright work. That old boat taught me how to sail. So, 2 shots net, Jim, that's good going, bloody hell. Johnson says, the sailing Zatara Catamaran has the best layout I've seen in the cat. Yeah, though Teresa is kind of pushing for the privilege.
Not as big as Zatara.
Not as big. I like the privileges. I think that the older models, the interior joinery looks superb, but the styling looks a little dated. And my worry is that you buy a boat that's 20 years old, you are kind of making
20 years
a
old.
rod for your back.
No, like 10 years old.
So again, this is like a lot of privilege questions. Look, all things being equal, if we won the lottery, a Privilege Series 5 would be high on the list.
No.
That is a beautiful, beautiful boat.
No.
Teresa?
Not for me.
Coop W has done a bong. Coop, that's fairly... I don't know, Coop, where are you that you're bonging it at this time?
Might be evening, might be late at night.
Ray Paulson says, on a crossing, have you ever tried to stop up, use a sea anchor, or just get some needed sleep? Ray, no, we haven't. We have a drogue, and we could heave to, which I think is what you're talking about. We've never had to do it so far. I would have no qualms about heaving to get some sleep. It is difficult in a boat with a self-tacking jib where firstly the sail tacks and you've got to back your foresail to kind of heave to, and also it's difficult to balance the boat because we are completely mains driven, so our main is would overpower the jib. So yeah. Elle, you're still here. That's fantastic. You're free to come and visit again. Would you ever consider posting Patreon-only versions of your videos with extended scenes and or less censored language? I sometimes miss the old days of Nick's cursing like I said. The reason I've talked about it, extended scenes, yes. The cursing thing, really, I don't know. I kind of think that, look, I swear like a navvy. I really do. And Teresa's like, sometimes she's like, bloody hell. But, you know, regarding YouTube and what we do now, I think I will save the cussing for kind of like more intimate moments with when we meet people. There you go. I think that was diplomatic.
Well, I think that the other side of the coin there is that, you know, creating kind of content, especially for patrons, it actually involves quite a lot of work. So when you're thinking, well, should I create like a video that has extended scenes and like take out the bleeping, or put in another scene where Nick perhaps has some more colourful language, should I spend 4 or 5 hours doing that, or should I spend that time creating a video for YouTube? Then, you know, at the moment, time is a bit of a precious commodity. We don't have time to be doing both of those things, so we always kind of tend to err on the side of creating YouTube content. However, when we have a little bit more time on our hands during the off season, then we hope that we can create some more content just for our patrons. But we, definitely need to protect our YouTube channel, which is, after all, our priority.
Yes, agreed. I heard the last thing. Protecting the channel is important. So yeah. So okay. So Marie says test selling cats will be interesting. Yeah. Do you know what? We're going to do that, and we are definitely going to test sell some cats.
Yeah. Can't wait.
It's no secret. You know, we are over either next year or the year after or sooner. If someone wants to buy her, we will sell Ruby Rose and probably look for a cat. So test selling cats is going to be fantastic. We're going to do a lot of research. Professor Moptop then says, sorry that. Jeremy Faulkner says, which cat we will get. He will bet it will be an Antares. Yes, look, I love the Antares. If we want to circumnavigate, which is what we're going to do with this cat, it will be an Antares. There are issues with the Antares which are purely cosmetic and do with the cockpit that we would.
Well, and it's very expensive.
And JH says, hey Nick, I'm the free paint man. If that's the chap who contacted us about anti-foul, yes, let us know. We actually don't have a mobile phone number, and the reason is we keep changing SIM cards. We got an O2 SIM card from the UK, and they cut us off. So, Jammer, hey Jack, how you doing? Yes, about the sales. Thank you. I'm glad you agree with that. T Knox says, why do you avoid caffeine on passage? A couple of reasons. Number one, on long passage, you need to get into a routine of sleeping when you can. You don't get 8 hours sleep a night. You get 3 hours around the day, and caffeine messes up your sleep patterns. And secondly, the other thing about caffeine is it makes me seasick, and it makes a lot of people seasick. So please be aware that. There you go with that. Samantha Gary says, Dyneema or stainless rigging? I would always go with stainless. I think that really one thing that you do want to know, you need to trust your rigging. And I think that while Dyneema is as strong, or Spectra is as strong, one thing that stainless does not do is it does chaff. And on long passages, chaff is going to be the killer. So if we were doing ocean crossings, I would have stainless rigging every time. And be aware of that. It's all fair and well if you chaff through a halyard. If you chaff through one of your shrouds, you are in a world of pain.
Yeah, she did chaff through our halyard.
Yeah, well, we did actually. So John Basketball says, Fontaine Pajot +1. Listen, I love Fontaine Pajot, and Cheeky Monkey did it, and realistically speaking, the Cheeky Monkey crossed the Pacific with it. I love, do you know what, as interior design goes, Fontaine Pajot are brilliant. I want to have a good bloody look at them.
Yeah, I don't think that circumnavigation is what Fontaine Pajot is built for. So I think that it depends on what we do, but my strong suspicion is that we will be, at the very least, crossing the Pacific and sailing the Pacific, and preferably going kind of further afield than that. And I would be more comfortable on a boat that was purpose-built for that.
So L actually, because we're behind, caffeine increases seasickness, it does. Sail trim series sounds great, yes, we'll do that. Mr. Juan's World says, can you do a technical Tuesday on your anti-seasickness routine? It's easy. I don't need to do a technical Tuesday on it. This is how you do it. You do not eat. Look, it's all to do with, firstly, this is what we do. You don't drink any alcohol before you sail. So 24 hours you purge your system of alcohol. Secondly, you drink no caffeine. And thirdly, while you are sailing, you have to eat stodgy carbs. So it's no having fruit for breakfast. Go and eat a bowl of porridge, like oatmeal. And all I would say, and I said this before, I hate oatmeal. It's like the devil's vomit. I really can't stand it, but Christ, you know, you've got a belly full of oatmeal, you don't get seasick. There you go. Mike 1350, good stuff. Thank you, JH. Email us. Jim Richard says, on Technical Tuesdays, are you going to do one on how to catch a fish? I'm going to get you on this, Jim. We put out our fishing rod twice. When was it? A couple of weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
We caught 6 fish, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
6 fish,
But they were
2 throws.
They were mackerel.
They were mackerel. Okay, fair enough. It wasn't like we caught like 3 porpoises.
Yeah.
Far-flung adventures. Enjoy picking up your children. Thank you. JH Black. Anti-foul's always black. There you go. So Peter Baker says, use a Sony cam camera and show instruments to show wind speed to boat speed with one item of sail adjustment. Yeah, we will do. Look, you know what? Actually, regarding we kind of obviously, because we're now into the YouTube thing, we're doing a lot more YouTube. We do have a lot of research on cameras. The new GoPro that's just come out looks bloody hot, so I think we'll get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Sea Travel, everyone give a thumbs up. Yes, please give us a thumbs up. Just thumbs up, like this feed, because it really supports our channel. It's completely free. You've just got to click buttons. That's it. Michael, hi, your wife is hot. Michael, she's even hotter because she's not my wife. The dude, time for a shot? Yes, it is, sir. Okay. SV doing it right. Request for Technical Tuesday for those of us new and learning. Cover the difference between symmetrical, asymmetrical, and code zeros.
We talked a lot about code zeros and
Before.
parasailers on our
Sorry.
on our Atlantic Crossing Q&A.
We did.
So we did talk a lot about.
All I would say is that North Sail's website and we're not endorsing North Sail's anyway. Do have a huge thing. Basically, the more sag they've got, the more bowl shaped they are, and the less flat they are, the better for downwind they are. Michael says, blow me a kiss. There you go, Michael. If you're Michael Turner, I'm going to find you. But no, you can't be Michael Turner because you said that. Joe the commuter guy says, heading to North Carolina as a volunteer with the Red Cross. Joe, that is admirable work.
Awesome.
Well done, mate. You know, our thoughts are with everyone. Adam Knight says, Contessa 26 with the Atlantic Pacific. Contessa 26, don't know about the 26, but the 32, I'd go in the water in 32. Beautiful. And John Smith says, what about privileged cats? Yes. We are looking... Teresa and I, odds. Teresa likes the old privileged cats. I think they went bust in 2009 and then reopened in 2014. But you can't get a privilege between about 2009 and 2014. I like the new cats. She likes the old cats.
Well, the new cats are well outside our budget, so there's no real point in liking them too much.
Larry Summer says, saw a Moody DS54 at the Newport boat show that blew me away. Yeah, the DS is a niche beast. I like it from the view of space. I don't like the aesthetics of it. Okay, so what country would you recommend as the best affordable dental work? Okay, niche question, but I shall answer it. All I would say to you is, dental work is not like buying an Apple phone or a Samsung phone where if it goes wrong you go back and they just change it out for you. I would say that even the most competent dentist in the world, about 10% of the work needs either fixing or it doesn't work. So for instance, you do a deep filling, it may need root canal, and about 10 to 20% of the time, dental tourism is fantastic, but sometimes it doesn't work. And I've heard as many horror stories about dental tourists where it goes wrong and they don't have recourse than about it going right. So you pay your money, you take your tourists. There you go. Next go. Canting keel. Canting keels, I think, are going to come to age in about 10 years for cruising yachts. Hello. Andrea says, hello gays, have a question for you. What does he do? How much money do you spend any month? Hello from Italy. We put a video out about it, about a specific cost about spending, and it's specific to a couple sailing. So just check out our feed. We've got a load of stuff about how much money we spend. John Wilson says, your comments about healing wood seem to favour catamarans since they tend to remain more upright. Actually, no. They do remain completely upright, but they don't sail to windward. So you have to forgo sailing to windward. But we can sail this boat at 30 degrees to wind. The southerlies, they sail like witches, upwind. They're brilliant. But
Catamarans do not.
yeah, catamarans do not. Dennis says, I don't sail but I drink. There you go. Well done, mate.
Jolly good, Dennis.
Marie Moore says, yes, I love startup sailing channels. No time for it all. I skip the big two. Okay, fair enough. So Gwyn says, so the size of the boat is the key to the motion in the ocean. Yes, the longer the waterline length, the less it does this. So you kind of need to, it's a more kindly motion the longer the boat when it comes to yaw. So forward back motion. When it comes to kind of how she deals with waves, it's to do with the bow shape, the stern shape, and also the profile of the keel. And that's something you do have to look into. It's kind of like slightly advanced work, but modern boats with kind of bolt-on keels and really flat bottoms don't deal well. You get a boat with like a Contessa 32 with a nice encapsulated keel, so when you look at it through cross-section, it looks like a wine glass. That will sail well. Right, okay. Peter says, with your new sails, put some 16% battens into the old head sail. Yeah, we actually have a battened head sail, and it's really it's slab cut Dacron. It does not it doesn't need battens. It needs a new sail, which is what we're doing. Trees, off you go. Do you want to answer some more, because I've done a lot.
And also, GH has noted that I'm falling asleep. Although he wrote falling wrong, but that's okay. We'll forgive you. What time is it in Spain? Nick, what time is it?
20 to 8, babe.
Greetings from an Aussie in Germany, says Dommy.
Dom, do you want to scroll down there?
Liam says, would you consider a cat, and if so, which make? I feel like we've answered this question quite extensively.
Antares or Fontaine Pajot or anything in between?
How much, Steve says, how much does it cost to park Ruby Rose on the hard for, say, 6 months? And do you think it's possible to stay in the southern Mediterranean in winter and enjoy it?
Yes, to both. Yes, you can stay in the southern Med in winter. You can stay on board, and about 200 a month for a 40-foot boat. Answer that question by Emery.
Guys, I want to do what you were doing, but my wife is opposing the idea, saying she gets seasick. What do you suggest I tell her to convince her? I don't think that, and I say this with the deepest respect, Emery, I don't know whether you telling her anything is going to convince her of anything. I think that she has to fall in love with sailing on her own, and if she needs some inspiration, then obviously there's like YouTube, not to kind of sound self-serving, but she can watch our channel if she wants to.
We could do it anyone can.
But there's also plenty of other sailing channels where there's a lot of really kick-ass women sailing. White Spot Pirates, that's a young girl, or youngish girl, I don't know how old she is, but I think she's about my age, sailing by herself in Panama. So yeah, there's lots of women who are sailing on YouTube, so she can, if that is something that she might be interested in, she can check it out. The seasickness can be quite the deterrent. It's hard to enjoy something when you feel really awful, but she might find that sailing in a different area is easier, i.e. like sailing the BVIs was pretty crazy. There wasn't much seasickness going on there. Sailing in Bahamas, there's not much seasickness because you're always protected from the ocean. Obviously lake sailing, probably not too much seasickness. And yeah, other than that, just, kind of try and encourage her to see, what it could be like, not what she might be experiencing so far.
Charter a catamaran in the BVIs for a week. If that won't convince her, you need a new wife.
And Liam, hang on, I just saw. Oh, I think I just missed it. Yeah, we're way behind on these comments. Help trying to convince my wife to sail long distance, but she won't do them on a hull. Thinking of a Fontaine Pajot. Yeah.
Yeah, look, small steps, mate.
Yeah.
Baby steps, mate.
Yeah.
The quickest way to put someone off is to scare them.
Yeah.
So just, essentially, two things. If you want to sail the Bahamas or the Caribbean, buy a boat in the bloody Caribbean. Don't buy it in, in Europe and think, oh, we're going to sail the Atlantic. Just, buy the boat or charter the boat or do a long-term charter in the area you want to sail in.
Mine says, the episode where Teresa was stripped, when we will get a scene of Nick stripped and blurred. There is actually already a scene of Nick stripped and blurred. I think that's from when we were in the Bahamas last year.
Yeah, if you look to our bloopers outtake, I'm naked. Look, essentially, me keeping clothes on is hard. I have to Teresa has to rein me in.
Well, I don't even bother, do I?
No, it's tackle out. And
I lost that pedal many years ago.
Terry says, what do you think about 40-foot Admiral Catamaran? I've never heard of an Admiral Catamaran. As I've said about all boats, if I haven't heard of it, it's got to be fairly niche, and if it's fairly niche, it'll be difficult to sell.
What about ginger? Says Rhonda. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's loads of seasickness remedies. That would be obviously step one.
All I have done is that we used to get a lot of ginger on board, and it was actually the delivery trip of Ruby Rose, after having 3 or 4 pints of ale the night before, throwing up ginger all over the deck. So there you go. John says, have you ever considered a trimaran? No. And do you know what? I looked at a Neil 45 day on the internet, and it just wasn't for me. Michael Zakharov says, how much would you sell your Southerly for? We have had 2 quotes from 2 different brokers, one in America, one in the UK. Both come at the same amount, and we will not sell her for less than that. So if anyone wants to buy her, email us. There you go. James Outerbridge says, any advice on safety on voltage leakage from other boats while docked in marinas? Have heard of electrocutions for swimmers, but never encountered it myself. Listen, mate, you could get hit by lightning, you could get killed by an angry owl. It doesn't happen often. The biggest problem with stray electricity really is to do, because there's so many circuit breakers everywhere now that everything trips out. It's to do with corrosion. So there you go. There we go. Joe the computer guy says, not your wife. Well, I did not know that. Can you fill us in on why not? Or is that too personal? No, nothing's really too personal. Probably actually some things are, but I'll answer anyway. We're not married. We have got such good American friends. It's a cultural difference. In Europe, no one seems to get married anymore. We've been together for 9 years?
Apart from my friend who's getting married next year.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's falling into decline because I suppose socially, it's acceptable for people not to be married. Your parents aren't married and they've been together for 40 years. So it's just different. It's just in America, people get married. Our friends, have had to get married before they went sailing together. It's like there you go. Okay, so David Gallagher says, hi guys, finally caught up with you live. Welcome, David. Nick, you need a weekly article in a newspaper. Find me a newspaper and I will rant away. Moody DS, yes, absolutely. What size is your boat, says Melissa? She's a Southerly 38, which, believe it or not, means she's 41 foot. Melissa Star says, can any sailboat take 10-foot waves? Yes.
I hope so.
It has nothing to do with the size of the wave, it's to do with the swell period. Let me explain. 10-foot waves, swell period is the distance between peaks of waves, and it comes as seconds. So if you have a 10-foot wave that's up there, and you have another 10-foot wave, like 10 meters or 10 meters away, you're going up and down like a bloody horse knickers. If you have a 10-foot wave, and then you have another 10-foot wave a mile away, you're going down a very slow slope and up a slow slope. So you're going down for half a mile and up for half a mile. It is swell period that is important. It has got very little to do with wave swell height. So you can have a 40-foot wave. If your 40-foot wave has a swell period of 2 minutes, so you get one 40-foot wave every 2 minutes, there's nothing for you to worry about. There you go. L. Trace, do you want to answer that, my love?
Of all the ports in the world, what have they revisited? What's your favourite and why? I feel like we answered a similar question earlier.
But I'm going to answer again. Morocco. I think some of the wildest things we've done have been in Morocco, from Rabat in northern Morocco to Essaouira. I'm fully of the opinion that you can only really judge a place after you've left it and it goes into the past. I think Morocco is some of my favourite memories of ports. It was crazy. Beautiful, crazy, wild, rugged, friendly. Yeah. Josh says, what's for dinner, cooking or restaurant? Don't know, it depends what time we get off here. Eliza says, is Greece in your plans this season? Yeah, maybe not. Dennis says, do you ever think we'll come to California? Yeah, we will come to California. Maybe not on a boat. Because I think even if we get through Panama, it's a long way to California. But, if we come to the US, I'm happy to fly to California. There's some good surf there, apparently. Mike says, do either of you plan on working again? We are working. This is hard work, this YouTube malarkey. If so, would it be in your previous career? No. Dentistry, I love dentistry. I love owning a dental practice. I don't want to... You move forward in life. Do you need to answer anything, Mike?
I can't see anything right
now. Okay, we're about here.
If you could choose any powerboat for free, what would you choose? I don't know anything about powerboats. Do you know anything about powerboats?
Yes, I choose a Nordhaven. Is that a powerboat? It's a motorboat. I choose a Nordhaven. Those things kick ass.
Why not a Lagoon 410? I think the thing about production cats and lagoons and leopards and Fontaine Pajots and even katanas to kind of large extent fall into the same category, which is that they're built for a purpose, which is to sail around a cruising ground that has lots of anchorages, i.e. the Caribbean, the Bahamas, something like that. I think that they're definitely up for crossing oceans, for sure. They're very seaworthy. But when you're talking about putting a lot of stress onto a boat, i.e. doing circumnavigation, you're talking about being away from kind of areas where you can easily get replacements, then, basically the more likely something is to break, if you're in the middle of French Polynesia or something and you have to get a replacement part, then that's going to really affect your time. Whereas if you buy a solid purpose-built boat, whether it's a catamaran or a monohull that is, obviously very, very well built, then it'll be less likely to cause issues down the line, which means that ideally you'd be able to get on with sailing and cruising and not kind of, dealing with, bits that have broken or need maintenance or whatever.
TC Ducks Adventure says, Exquisite X5 is a special cat that is about the same price as an Antares, I believe, at least new. The problem is the faster the boat goes, the more bloody uncomfortable it is. And it's all fair well to be doing 15, 20 knots, like for a day sail. But you try doing that for 3 weeks and see the toll it has on your crew. Look, long distance sailing or offshore long distance sailing, and when I'm talking long distance, I'm talking about more than 3 or 4 days. The biggest worry you have, or the biggest concern, is looking after your crew. And it's not like, is my crew going to get a bang on the head? Is my crew going to kind of fall overboard? It's to do with crew management, because tiredness creeps up on you, and that's when mistakes happen. And we have had crew on board who they have made mistakes when they're supremely competent sailors because they're just so tired. So being knocked around, the most important thing for me, I remember when we first set off across the Atlantic, there was we were sailing past the wind acceleration zone in Gran Canaria, and the wind was knocking 45 knots, and Teresa turned to me and said, look, if we don't slow this boat down and get us stable, the crew aren't going to be able to sleep, and if our crew can't sleep, we're going to have problems. And it's true, it's about comfort on board. This isn't being a pussy. It's about understanding that a fully manned race crew, where you've got 12 of you, where you've got people that can take over if someone gets sick or someone can't handle it. The biggest problems you have on long-term offshore cruising are mistakes caused by tiredness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Darley Dubbers, has beef and potatoes been hard to find? No, that has not been hard to find. Elle is making comments about the motion on top of Mars. It's absolutely true. John Wilson says, Uchimo seems to be a good combination of performance and comfort. John, we've talked about this, but yeah, I'm going to just highlight it again. Uchimo is brilliant, but the thing about Uchimo is they're fantastic. If I want a catamaran to go out and do week sailing, piss around and go flying off, absolutely brilliant. Catamarans are very, very, very susceptible to adding weight. Monohulls sit in the water, catamarans sit on the water. And I talked to Mathieu at the boat show, and the Ultimo 45, you can put half a ton of additional weight into it before it affects its performance. That means you can't even put a generator into it. How do you do that? How do you sail a boat where you and live on board where you don't have a gen set? It's hard.
Well, you can live on board if you're just spending a week in the islands, but when you're looking at something that is going to be your home that you're circumnavigating in, then yeah.
Yeah. Son of a Gun, it says 430 watch, about only 250 likes. Hit the like buttons, please. Hit the like buttons, please. It's good for us. So what else we got? How we always. Christy says, do you want to answer that?
How many languages do you both speak? Nick speaks Italian, French, and English. I have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, I speak 3 languages, which is useful, especially, yeah. Teresa speaks Australian.
It's a very special language.
Andre says, on QI says you could stop waves from breaking by putting as little as a tablespoon of oil in the sea. Sailors used to throw oil. I have heard that if you pour oil over the back of a boat, it can stop breaking waves. I think a tablespoon is ridiculous. And I think at the point at which you're worried about breaking waves, you're tipping a tablespoon of oil overboard. You're going to get your lumps red. Jack says, I think everyone sailing should be naked all the time under sail. It's true. Look, as soon as I'm out of sight of land, like, I am as naked as a
day you were born.
Yeah, and I really do prefer running, but in all fairness, you get it caught in a clutch. Ooh, the dude's got to go. Bye bye. Jeffrey says, my son wants to sail across the Atlantic. Can you give us advice of what size of boat, what we should do, and get other advice? I would be helpful. Thank you. We're in New Orleans. I would suggest to your son that if he is sailing on his own as skipper, that he just works up to that. Genuinely. Two Wheels White says, I've lived on a narrowboat for 16 years. No exciting experience. Is it too late to start transition? Absolutely bloody not, mate. Go and find your local sailing club. Just find some time on board. Get some places crewing and helping out.
I'd love to live on a narrowboat.
We probably will at some point. Ann and Sid are here. Hello, Ann and Sid. Yeah, boat maintenance. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry, mate. Richard's here. Champagne on hold for Ruby Rose next year. Don't worry about champagne. I should make it bush. Oh, it's forming tonight.
Oh, that's pretty, isn't it?
Jose says, I'm assuming Ruby Rose is 220. If this is correct, how did you affect resale estimate in the US? It doesn't make any odds. I was always worried about this. You essentially just find a 30 amp connection and rewire your plug. We had a 30 amp supply in the US. What will work at 220?
Hear the American national anthem.
Why are the Yanks playing the American anthem here? Who the hell is playing an American national anthem here? Okay, Rusty Travellers. Hello guys, finally catching your live sessions. Have you considered satellite internet? We would. It's so super expensive. Although we got an email the other day from someone saying, do you want satellite internet? Maybe we will. Why? It's strange. We're in the middle of Valencia in Spain, and someone is blaring out the Star Spangled Banners. Elle wants. Thank you, Elle. That's very kind of you.
Naked selling videos for patrons. Don't tempt him, Elle. Because seriously.
Jesus, listen. When you come visit, just make sure I've got clothes on you. The anthem is the American anthem. It's not us. Someone is playing the Star Spangled Banner as the moon rises. It's pretty romantic if you're an American.
Yeah.
So I think we've probably come to the end of our, almost the end of our questions. So we've been here.
There's an American destroyer in Valencia port. Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. There's an American destroyer.
Actually, there's two.
Yeah, there's two American destroyers. They are it's dusk and they are lowering the Star Spangled Banner while playing.
And blasting the American anthem for everyone to hear.
I like it. Do you know what? I think of all the national anthems, it is probably one of the best.
Yeah, it's certainly got...
The Italian one is shocking.
Yeah, the Australian one's not great either.
It's Waltzing Matilda, isn't it?
If only you were waltzing.
They tried to change it to Waltzing Matilda.
They tried to change it, not to Waltzing Matilda, but they definitely tried to change it, like, I don't know, about 10 years ago, and everyone was like, you can't. They also tried to change the Australian flag.
To what? Just a kangaroo and some Aborigines getting slaughtered by white people.
Well, they did want to include kind of the Aboriginal flag somehow, but yeah. Let's have it less kind of... It is, at the moment, a Union Jack, which really, is that necessary in this
voted
day and
to
age.
stay.
I didn't vote for any such thing. I was like 10. Anyway.
Okay, so Ian just says, how is Valencia Cruises? Ian, we've been going this for 2 hours now. Valencia is one of the most amazing places we've ever been to. We're going to stay here for a long while. Andre says, do you remember to take the ensign at night? We should do, we need a new ensign. One thing we do need, it's one on the list of things to do before next season is get a new decent ensign. So, we better call it a day. So, couple of things. We will be, just to recap, we will be in Valencia for winter. We will be in at the Barcelona boat show for a couple of days. So anyone wants to come and see us, come to Barcelona. The weather is divine here. So whether you are in Spain or in Europe or in other parts, including in the US, if you come to Barcelona, we will be in Barcelona for a couple of days. We will be here, probably a live feed again for you in probably 3 weeks before we lay up.
Yep.
And our sailing season stops now, probably in about a month. I don't think we're going to do much more sailing, but we do have videos to take you up until February. We've been making sure that we don't.
Yeah, Pamela says videos from land, or will you go dark for several months? No, Pamela, there's quite a bit of a lag. I think there's about a 6 or 8 week lag at the moment, so that lag will obviously continue, and then by the time we get back to the boat, probably in February, because we're going to see family, then we'll be all caught up, all up to date, and then we start all over again.
There shouldn't be much of a gap,
no,
if at all. Anyway, listen, thank you so much for watching us. Message us, let us know what you think. Please like this feed, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, whatever the hell is on there. And listen, we'll see you all soon. Hopefully on the water. We are always, if you are in the locality, come and say hi. Send us a message, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Good evening.